I heard a really interesting case this morning. Studies show that the bigger the age gap between two people, the shorter the relationship. Age was a very large factor for the couple who brought their issues into divorce court today.
Divorce court is now in session.
Ms. Dawes, Mr. Lewis, you two have been married for 3 years. You do, however, have 2 children together, one who's 6 and one who's 1.
Yes.
You are 22 years old.
Yes, I am.
You had the oldest one when you were 16. Well,
Yes.
you didn't have it, but
Yeah, she had.
she had.
We had.
Yes, the 2 of you had a baby when you were 16, and you were 30. So let me start there. How does a 30-year-old get interested in a 15-year-old?
Not purposely, but it happened.
I've had a lot of 15-year-old boys through my house. I have a lot of sons. They weren't interesting at 15. What did you find interesting about her? Him?
He was very mature. He was educated, and he was really funny.
When you
And
say he was educated, wasn't he still in high school?
He was. But he could keep a good conversation. It wasn't like talking to a little kid where you can't stay focused and.
How long were you with him before you discovered his age?
Maybe a few months.
Did you lie to her about your age?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I didn't. I never lied about my age. Never have.
Did you ever had conversations
didn't
about
even
what he
talk-
did in life and all this kind of stuff? I mean, didn't algebra come up?
No, ma'am. No math, and we didn't have a discussion about ages, like right off.
I really didn't care.
But did you have a discussion about life? Like what a 15-year-old does on a daily is go from one class to another, goes home to mom, gets fussed at because his room isn't clean?
No.
You guys didn't, what did you talk about?
We talked about mostly me because I was on a rebound from a bad relationship. And so we talked about that. We talked about my children that I had, and mostly about just our life period, what we were doing at that time.
Okay.
Nothing long term.
All right. So you got married, you already had one child, you had another child, now you're looking for a divorce. What has gone wrong?
His addiction to porn is one of the main reasons, because I didn't know that coming in.
Now let me ask you this. When you say a porn addiction, does he just like porn and you just don't like that he likes porn? Or has porn taken on such a large segment of his life that it's begun to impede on his ability to conduct business? Because that's what an addiction is.
It's an addiction to the point where he's sneaking and doing it. Then he's pleasuring himself.
Well, and typically, when one watches porn, well, it's a solo activity and the pleasure happens. That's kind of the whole purpose of it. So it's not that he has an addiction so much, it's that he's doing it and you don't like it.
I actually don't have I would be willing to watch it with him. I told him as a couple to keep things open, and where we could try to connect on that level, I would watch it with him.
And his response was?
I don't feel comfortable.
Mr. Lewis, do you believe you have an addiction to pornography?
A little bit. A little bit I do.
And when you say addiction, what do you mean? How often do you engage in looking at porn?
I say probably like maybe twice a week, maybe something like that.
I think we misuse the term addiction too much. We throw it around. It's like anything that I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted to it. You like porn and you watch it a couple of times a week. I don't call that addiction. I call that a habit. You know what I mean? It's something that you do, which is something that you enjoy. And addiction is something that grows to an extent that it takes over your life and you can't function normally because you engage in it so much. So let's not call it an addiction. So, do you believe he's cheating on you at all?
I'm not sure because I don't trust him. He lie a lot.
Okay. Give me an example of something that has indicated to you that he may not be faithful.
At his job, he was working at a plant.
Right.
And he had this woman who I thought was okay at first. She was looking out for him, but then she wanted to start buying him food. Then she's picking him up from the bus stop. He has their personal number. And I don't believe it was just a call to say, hey, I'm gonna be late, because when you're somewhere brand new, how in the world after 2 days is this woman going out of her way to do all of this stuff for you?
Was one of your co-workers doing a whole lot of, giving
No.
you a whole lot of extra care and niceties?
No, Your Honor, she wasn't. Let me tell you something. Actually, I think it was maybe like our first or second day on the job, and we was going to a different site. And she said, well, there's no vending machines here, so here, while we at this vending machine, get you something to eat, because there's no vending machines or where we're going. And I didn't have a lunch, and I didn't have any money, so she just took it upon herself, to give me a couple dollars, so I can just get something to eat.
That happened more than once.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, a little food out of the vending machine, it's not like you're taking him to Wolfgang Puck's or something.
He has a wife. I make lunches for him, the kind of lunches that people get jealous over because they're lobster tails, they're this and that and the other.
You make him lobster tails for lunch?
Yes, ma'am. I make him lobster tails. He has steaks. He has pasta that I make.
Yes, I do.
Sauces that I make from scratch. So there was no reason why.
I gotcha. Anything other than the co-worker in the vending machine, because it's pretty light so far.
No, we had an incident we were having a conversation in the kitchen. And I was talking to him because I think he's a little friendly with women. And so I asked him, I'm like, what kind of women is it that you're talking to? Do you talk to the not so attractive women, or, do you spread yourself around? Oh, no. He only talks to attractive women. So to me, if you're not including all women, you basing it down to a specific type. And it's friendly.
Did you actually tell your wife you only talk to attractive women?
No, not in those words. No, not in those words.
What words? No, hang on. What words did you use?
I said, yes, I do. Yes, I do talk to women. I mean, because they're my coworkers. I'm not talking. I'm not talking to them. I'm not talking to them trying to get with them. I'm talking to them on a work level. It's not
But you didn't mention what they looked like at all. Did you go home and tell your wife there's a new good-looking chick on the job that I got to show what's going on?
No, I did not tell her that.
A few days ago, I get a pocket dial voicemail, and the same female that texts the phone accidentally, that's who he was laughing and joking in the background with.
Have you been living together for years but find that splitting up is as complicated as getting a divorce? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Divorce Court. Mr. Lewis, we've been talking about you for a while, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk. Why don't you tell me why you think the two of you are here in divorce court today?
Well, first off, just like how she said, she don't trust me, and I have lied about, porn and all that other type of stuff or whatever, but it has not affected, like, my bedroom or, it hasn't affected...
You taking care of business with her even though you taking care of business with yourself?
Yeah.
No.
Now, Ms. No?
No.
You disagree with that assessment?
I disagree, whatever.
You
Your
disagree?
Honor, let me tell you something. She has these so-called pajama panties or whatever that, she has, pajama underwear. And so, she says, when she put those on, that means she wants to give me some. I go and, lay down or whatever and, try to rub her up, get her in the mood.
Be careful.
And so, I go and, try to get a little action. Just like, well, what the heck then? So if you trying to get me some, you got these underwear on, like, what am I supposed to do then?
Ms. Doss, do you contend that there is not as much affection and romance as you would otherwise like?
No, and I know a lot of it have to do with me because of my distrust for him. And then I don't feel the connection we used to have. I feel like if you lie about something, he'll lie about anything. So I'm not as open with him as I used to be. And so we lacking in that area.
And the lies that he's told, and I understand how that makes you withdraw, but Are they just about the porn and the co-workers, or have you caught him in other substantial lies?
Not too long ago, there was a text message, and I didn't understand. It was a female, and I'm like, I don't know, who are you? Who are you, trying to get in contact with? And so she says, oh, I must have the wrong number. Once I said, me and my husband don't know you. And so a few days ago, I get a pocket dial voicemail. And the same female that texts the phone accidentally, that's who he was laughing and joking in the background with. And so he got to be the world's unluckiest man, or coincidence.
To pocket dial your wife while you over there chatting it up with some other woman. Mr. Lewis, did that occur?
Not how she said it did.
Well, you tell me how it happened.
Yeah, I'm at work, and so, yeah, I guess, I pocket dialed her or whatever. Didn't know. I actually pulled
Accidentally dialed her. What happened?
Accidentally dialed her. I guess the girl was talking. She was talking like she was making. Basically, we was all making jokes and about a trainee, and so the trainee works down the street from where we live, and I go.
Yeah, you're taking me around. Mr. Lewis, you tell very long stories.
Stuff like that don't just fall out the sky and happen. And it doesn't just happen.
Well, I didn't hear anything suspect in the conversation.
But I didn't.
No, it was at his job. But the whole point is, he said he didn't know a person by this name while she texting the phone. But you have a coworker with the exact same name.
I understand what you're telling me. I get it. You went on a tantrum and tore up her stuff when the kids were in the house?
Yes.
How tacky is that? I know you're only 22, but
Yeah.
really? If you would like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Divorce Court. Ms. Doss, you say that Mr. Lewis has a terrible temper. Why don't you tell me about that?
He has a tendency to get upset and leave. He won't answer any calls, any texts. He'll leave while it's light outside and come back, a few hours later.
What kind of things do you argue about?
We disagree about the children. We disagree about we disagree pretty much about everything. It'd be little minor things, but he'll get really angry if I point out certain things about him, like, oh, you're yelling. Or,
give me an example of an argument that occurred that you thought was way out of proportion to the problem that you were trying to address.
I left and went to the movies, and I didn't answer his calls or texts like he do to me. What he did was sat at home and had a tantrum and tore up my things. One of the things was something he got from me, but why would you get mad and tear up my stuff? When you do things like that, I don't touch his things.
Did you get angry and tear up her stuff?
Yes, I did.
Because she wouldn't answer the phone?
Not because she wouldn't answer the phone, because she hung up on my face as soon as she heard my voice, and all I wanted to do was ask her if she had my card or not. Because I came from work and I was getting a ride home, and so I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can stop at the movies or something like that, but really didn't want to. Just got off work, sweaty, dirty, didn't want to. I text her. I said, do you have my card or whatever? She didn't text back. So then I call her again. I call her, and then she just forwarded me the voicemail, and then
I was at the movies.
So then that's when I called her again. She picked up the phone. I said hello in a nice, calm voice, wasn't yelling, angry, or anything. I said, do you know where I said hello, and she said hello and click. And I'm like, dang, and that's when
Were you mad at him?
I threw my phone.
You were mad at him, so he okay. Now, Mr. Lewis, let me ask you this. Were the kids home with you?
Yes.
And you went on a tantrum and tore up her stuff when the kids were in the house?
Yes.
How tacky is that? I know you're only 22, but really?
Yeah, I will admit that's very tacky or whatever, I didn't mean to, and I did apologize to her for that, because I didn't mean to tear up her stuff or whatever. It's just that when she hung up on me, as soon as she heard my voice, didn't want to hear me out, didn't want to answer my question or anything like that, I threw my phone.
Ms. Doss, I have to tag you with a little immaturity as well. How much sense does it make to get angry and not talk to somebody and go to the movies and not answer the text? all you know that's going to inspire anger and response. It's not going to resolve any issue. It's not going to serve any purpose other than to make the other person angry as well. Wasn't that a rather immature way to handle whatever displeasure you were experiencing?
I can admit and say yes, it was, but at the same time, when we're getting into it, I'm usually the one to be quiet. He's usually the one to be
Shut down.
voiced. Yes,
Put
that
brick walls up.
I can shut down because we have children, and I don't have to go back and
I'm not a
forth with you.
child.
See, you didn't let me finish my
That's
statement.
not what she said. She said she shuts down because you have children, so that children aren't exposed to chaos and anger and arguing. That's what she's saying. Okay? You got to pay attention, people. You got to listen to one another. I don't think either one of you really got that down quite yet. But let me tell you what we need to do. In divorce court, people tell me the most intimate details of their lives. Join the conversation and share your experience on our Twitter page at Divorce Court and on our Facebook page. See how fans deal with their own relationships. The discussion can get heated. Don't miss it. Ms. Dawes, you're seeking money for damages that you say he caused to a door. Tell me about what happened and what happened to the door.
He was storming, getting ready to come in there, and I pushed the door shut, and he punched a hole in it.
He was storming, getting ready to come in
Come
there.
in the room. I went in the bedroom because it's our bedroom door.
And you were arguing?
Yes.
And he followed you in there. You shut the door, and he put a hole in the door.
Yes,
I understand. We have a picture of that? Mr. Lewis?
Yes,
did you, in fact, put that hole in the door?
I surely did, but not purposely. First off, we were having a discussion, and so I was in the middle of talking, and she slammed the door in my face. Me, I didn't mean to do that. I just pushed the door. You know, I pushed the door.
I'm
I didn't
not a
punch him,
forensic
ball fist,
specialist or
or
anything, but that
like
doesn't look like a push. That looks like a fist went into that door.
No,
That doesn't look like that.
I did not punch the door whatsoever. If you come to our house and see that door is very, very light.
So you want $200 because you know you have to fix the door so you can get your security deposit back. And I'm going to discuss that in a moment. Before I do that, I'm going to say this. You should know better than to date children, because children are children, and he may be mature and for his age, but when you date a child, this is what you get. And he's not mature enough to handle a family and a wife. He hasn't got it together enough. That's why he gets angry all the time. He's watching porn. He's doing what a 22-year-old does, because 22-year-olds aren't mature enough to have that kind of family and responsibility, and that's what you get. And you have to remember, if you're going to dip down into the kiddie zone, you got to be prepared to raise him a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying? You can't get in the sandbox with him and not answer the phone and all those calls. You have to show up super mature, because you have to guide him in a way that will allow him to deal with your children in a manner that a man needs to deal with them, not a little boy. So, ain't nothing free. 16 is probably cute and works well and all that kind of stuff, but it comes with issues. And this is the issue that it comes with. Mr. Lewis, once you decide you get married, once you decide you have children, your days of being childish are over. You may be 22, but you don't have the right to behave like a 22-year-old. You most certainly do not have the right to crack the foundation of those children's lives by making them live in a chaotic household. You better step up, man up. If you cannot stop getting angry, you remove yourself from the household, because that is not appropriate. Put your finger down. This is my time. This is not for you. Grow up, get a clue. You bought this on yourself. However, you will get $200 in favor of Mrs. Dawes. It is so ordered. As Jonneshia found out, you get the person you pick in a relationship, not the Prince Charming you'll hope he'll become. Call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com.